So is this questions, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Hey, you guys. Let's go first.
Do you think that Juice Robinson has any kind of mental advantage being from North America?
No. No.
What do you think about representing the United States?
Was there a second part of that question? I know I cut you off, but was there more you going for there?
No, that was pretty much, I was going to ask, how you felt about somebody coming out on their home turf, if that gave them any kind of an edge against you.
No, if we want to talk about having mental advantages, I think I've easily got it. You look at his hand and everything like that. Look at his track record in championship matches. I think that outweighs the fact that we're doing this in the States. I've wrestled in the States plenty of times. So no, that's not going to play a part on me.
What do you think about representing the United States, that championship?
I think you're all very lucky to have me here to do it, basically, and you're all welcome.
What'd you do for Independence Day as the United States champion?
I was in a pool with my dog and other dogs, basically. So yeah.
What was it like breaking into wrestling in New Zealand compared to being on top of the world right now in New Japan?
I didn't break into wrestling in New Zealand. I think I've done this a bunch of times in interviews. I didn't wrestle in New Zealand until after I'd been to New Japan. I started in England. There was little to no wrestling scene in New Zealand, so I left to England and started there. Went to New Japan, and it wasn't until a couple years later that I actually had a match in New Zealand.
Wait, you probably get asked this question a lot, but it's probably an ever-evolving answer. Who is Switchblade, and what is Switchblade all about?
Switchblade is exactly what I put in front of you. It's exactly what I say and do. There's a lot of times that I see people making comments that, oh, he did this one time, so the next day he should be saying things like this or doing things like this. No one has control over what I say or do other than myself. People saying they think Switchblade should do this. I am the Switchblade, nobody else is. What I put in front of you, what I say, what I do, whatever I choose to do, that is exactly what the Switchblade is, not what anybody else wants.
So how deeply are you going to cut Juice then?
Well, literally, I'll probably, if I did it literally, we can talk about it and stuff, but I'd get arrested and stuff. I can't actually literally kill somebody in there or bring a knife into there, but there's other weapons around the ring and bits and pieces, so the result for him is going to be the same as it always is in the championship matches. I had this match with Paige and people questioned whether I could do that or not, and I told everyone I was going to win. I did, and it's the same thing tomorrow.
How'd you come up with the name Switchblade? I think that's just one of the coolest nicknames in wrestling.
It just kind of, I don't really know. It just felt very natural for what we were going for. I think at first I thought of Sling Blade, but then obviously that's the name of one of Tanahashi's moves, and then within the next second there was, oh, how about this? And then it just kind of stuck.
Who were you most excited to face in your block in the G1 tournament?
Well, I'm the only champion, so I don't really care who I face. They should all be lapping up a chance to face me. So I'm sure they're all very excited for that, see if they can prove themselves and see if they can get a shot at it as well. Obviously the first match with Okada has a little bit more to it. I've told him and the other guys that to watch that because it's a chaos match. I feel like I've been setting a better example recently of what a chaos leader should do and should be. So as far as I'm concerned, that match there is not just a G1 match on the opening night, that's almost 4 chaos as well.
Do you think the competition underestimates New Japan Pro Wrestling?
The competition being...
Say World Wrestling Entertainment?
Oh, those guys. Maybe, but at the same time, those guys know that we have the best wrestlers in the world, hence why they try to take all of them, pretty much. A couple of years ago, there was, how many guys left? There was 4. Was it AJ, Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson all left? It's very public, the interest that they have in guys like Omega and the Young Bucks and, everybody else. And I can't blame them. That's business. Why wouldn't you want to get the best wrestlers in the world if you're supposed to be the best wrestling company in the world? But we've said it before, and a lot of people know it. That's not a wrestling company. That's a sports entertainment company. We're the best wrestling company in the world. So I can't blame them for wanting to take our wrestlers.
You talk about it being New Japan being the best wrestling promotion in the world, best wrestling company in the world. So is there any interest at all right now, or have you ever thought about, do I want to have this opportunity with WWE? Are you happy where you are with New Japan and thinking you're going to stay here?
It's not even a thought or an option. When guys go there who I do know, I've said, you know, if you want anything or if you're interested, let me know. But it's not an interest. That's not what they put out. Isn't what I enjoy or what I would put out. You want to be able to do there what we do in New Japan. So no, there's no interest there.
If New Japan puts on a show in New Zealand and you get to defend the title, would you bring out the All Blacks to do the haka with you?
I don't know if I have the power to get them to do that or not. I'm sure we could find some people to set that up, but I feel like that would be more down Henare's track. You know, I'll let him do that, seeing as that's what he does in the ring himself. I'm also not Māori myself, so be a bit more natural for him to do that.
Kenny Cody and the Bucks came through, and they talked a lot about outside projects that they're doing to try to, expose the brand outside of just pro wrestling. Are there any outside interests or projects that you'd like to give some attention to help spread your brand in New Japan?
Not overly right now. You know, those guys have been doing it for a lot longer. I'm more focused on, cementing myself at the top of New Japan. I'm not going to take too much on my plate. This is only within my first year back. It's only been 6-7 months. So I'm not going to try to take on too much all at once. As confident as I may be, I'm not going to overlook too many things as well. So got my first G1, so I'm just going to focus on that.
So, because you're the United States champion and representing like the movement towards the United States, what do you think of either with your help or with this New Japan has to do? What do you think New Japan has to do to sort of this, like I said, expand to the U.S. a little bit more?
I think what they're doing at the moment seems to be working all right. We had those 2 shows on consecutive nights last year, and now we're in the second show this year. Obviously, they're spread apart, much bigger arenas and venues. So it's the type of thing that's going to take time. Quite often in pro wrestling, people expect things to happen overnight. It's not how it is with anything really. It all takes time. Same with the expansion of New Japan in the US. So I think the way they're going about it seems to be going pretty good so far, and we're just going to have to see where it goes. The fact that they've got so much more English content with the commentary, you've got guys like Kevin Kelly there, I think that's a huge factor as well. It makes it more appealing for English-speaking fans to watch when they can actually understand exactly what's going on, especially when there's things like, if there's any guys that are doing Japanese, talking in the ring in Japanese or things like that, if they can get the translation, they can actually feel like they're watching it and actually really a part of it.
What went into the selection of such a badass suit today, man? You look good.
That's basically it, and you look good, so it just, put it all on. Yeah.
Have you gotten to experience any of the tourist destinations that San Francisco has to offer?
No, I flew in yesterday, and haven't had too much free time since then, and I doubt we will before we go as well. We got this today, shows tomorrow, flying the next day, and I've got 2.5 days before going back to Japan for the G1. So it's all a quick turnaround. And even just before this, we were in England, and I had 2.5 days at home in between. So it's not a lot of extra time.
So you stated that you've only been back for a couple months, 6-7 months. How important was your time away from New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Obviously vital, seeing as I've come back and got this, and then you have guys like David Finlay and obviously Juice Robinson who stayed, and I think David May got lucky and been a 6-man champion for a brief amount of time, whereas you have guys like Juice, have those big opportunities and couldn't capitalize. I come back, one brief speed bump, first match back, and then next singles match I have, I'll be supposedly the greatest wrestler in the world, Kenny Omega, and take his belt from him. So proof is in the pudding. I think that time away was very important.
So you've had several people like you, like say yourself, Hiromu Takahashi, or there's people who've made the excursions to the U.S. and then came back stronger, more fleshed out characters. What do you think was the best part of your excursion to the U.S. and what did you gain most from?
You have the freedom to make your own choices in terms of wrestling, what you want to do. You're not stuck in New Japan being told by the guys above you or your senpai, hey, no, do this. We did this 20 years ago, so you have to do it now as well. You have a lot more freedom to kind of create what you want to put out in the ring, basically. And I think that's the biggest part of it. And obviously it works out. Takahashi he's the champion right now in the juniors, and I've obviously got this as well. You've guys like Evil, who went away a while ago now, but he's been IWGP heavyweight tag champ, and they have a big match as well, so it clearly works out for those guys.
Jay, tomorrow, such a big opportunity. Do you want to connect physically, you know, by your action? Do you want to connect an emotional story? I mean, again, with Jim Ross calling, it's such a big opportunity for you to introduce yourself to a larger audience here in America. What's the goal for you tomorrow?
The goal is to walk in with this and walk out with it. I don't care what the fans think about me. I don't care if they have a fun time watching our match. That's not what it's about for me. What it's about for me is having this on my shoulder at the start of the night and the end of the night, throughout the G1, you know, being on top at the end of the G1. I don't care about the fans' feelings at the end of the day, because it's not what is important to me. That's not what gets me paid, and that's not what helps me keep this belt.
Awesome. All right, I think they want you. I think you're done here.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll be good to